Greetings and God bless. So, we're going to do a little workshop about life planning. And basically, it's about brainstorming your priorities. Sorry about that. So, I've been meaning to do this, and now is just a good time. So, if you have like a pen and paper, if you use a journal, if you have a day planner, that might be something good to grab. And what we do is we just focus on what are you, we're going to kind of do a little overview, like what are you good at? What is it that's your focus, your priority? What do you want to work on? And the whole point of just kind of looking at things in a cheerful way, just looking at possibilities so you can personalize your next steps. So, a lot of the times we're comparing ourselves to other people. We're trying to do something that worked for somebody else. And what worked for whoever, what worked for Charles Darwin or what worked for I can't even say any people's names because who knows whose feelings will get hurt. But what worked for your mom or what worked for your boss or your coworker or the barista or whoever, whatever worked for somebody else may not work for you. And what worked for you 10 years ago may not work for you, who you are today. And so the whole point is to be realistic, personalize, adjust, and experiment with some ideas. And we start off with like where you are right now. So it's important to take stock. So it's January 22nd, 2022. And so what are your priorities at the moment? Like what's important to you right now? Could it be buying a house? Could it be healing your health? And then we're just going to do a brief little overview, and we'll do this again. But this is just to give you a little bit of overview or a basic introduction of what you would expect in this kind of lifestyle design brainstorming. And so then it's important to look at what is kind of like what comes naturally to you. Is being relaxed, being calm, cool, and collected? Is keeping things simple? Is that your expertise? Or is going out and being extroverted, going to a lot of stores or a lot of cafes or a lot of events? Each of us has our own thing that comes naturally to us. So it's good to kind of write that down. So if you want to, in the comments section, if you want to talk, if you want to write, well, my priority right now is, buying a new pair of good walking shoes or cleaning out, decluttering the pantry or something like that. And then the next question would be, what are you good at? What comes naturally to you? So, and I feel like it may be a good thing to, so for me, like what would my goal be? Like right now I'm spring cleaning, even though it's January, like I don't know, like I've been seeing geese flying and I'm like, and even though the weather at times it's like 17, 14 degrees or something like that, like I'm like, it could be winter still has a while to go here in South Dakota, but for the moment, I don't know. Even though I'm like hunkering down, I just feel like spring cleaning. So I'm organizing my files and I'm going through all of my materials. And so that's my kind of immediate goal right now, is just to organize my files. And in terms of in the past, I've been very organized or pretty organized. And for some reason that hasn't been happening lately. So the next question then is, what was most fun as a child? So for me, and ask yourself, yeah, when you were younger, what was most fun for you? And for me, I think it would be going to the playground and just going playing with other kids. And so if you were to, the next question then would be, and feel free to comment in below, what was most fun when you were a kid? Was it playing with the family dog, or going camping, or whatever? So what would you say in the past were your greatest successes? So this would be something that you accomplished by a certain time, day, like got your degree, or had your baby, or whatever. So what would be your successes? And and so put that in the comments if you feel like writing that. And when we go to look at what you've been good at in the past, let's say being organized for me, or maybe you're really loyal, or you're good at learning languages, or you can do computer coding. Think about those skills or those strengths, and feel free to add any others that kind of relate, or even it could be something that's completely different. Like, let's say you're good at coding, but then you're also a good illustrator or something like that. So, think about your other strengths and skills. And if there was, if we could take a kind of a subjective sense, like kind of a temperature, what would you say that you like the most about yourself? Is it being very practical, or is it being really sociable? Like, what would you say is your strength that you like the most about yourself? And I would say I like being creative and resourceful. Um, like effortlessly. I don't really like having to do accounting for 20 for all every day of the month for 8 hours a day. That just makes me want to it's just the last thing I ever want to do. I'm more of kind of a rapid um, idea kind of person. So right now, what are your priorities? And it could be about your health, your family, your work, career path, finances, being sociable and extroverted, to taking more alone time, solitude. Could be about children, your safety, your maybe uh, you know if you're in a certain location, or if there's just some safety issues. Uh, is there some type of recognition that you want? Do you want to become establish a brand, be more in the public eye? Would it be education, owning property, um, learning more about your ancestors, your roots, tradition, ethnicity? Would you need? Would you feel like you want to explore your relationship with God? Increase or decrease physical activity? Um, Make a focus on your intellectual activity, creative activity, appearance. So, for you at this moment, what would be like one or two, or at the most three things that you feel is a priority for you? And feel free to enter it in the comments section. So I would say for me, I want to maybe work on some physical activity in a fun environment. If I can find something that's like local, I'd like to get attend a Bible study, again, local, in person. That's King James version, and I've tried getting that started here, and I just can't seem to do that. And also, I've just heard about the Patriot Supper Club, and I think it's like, I'm not sure if it's just a Patriot, like free, like a perfect in pedigree without, you know, kind of a what some of us consider to be like a safe, non-spike protein population kind of a thing. Like, so I mean, it would just be nice to have dinner more with like-minded people. So I'd say those for me are at the moment my priorities. Now, it could be that I might think about this in an hour and be like, you know what, I think I want to adjust that. So just know that this is just a brainstorming. We are just, seeing what sticks, just teasing things out. Because as you go along, you kind of get more of a sense of clarity, a more certainty. So, so let us take a look at your goals. So, what if you ignored what you've been brainstorming about? So, let's say you want to travel to Mexico for February for a getaway. What would happen if you didn't do that thing, or what would happen if you didn't um, create that sculpture or whatever it is that's inspiring you? What do you lose by refusing to do what matters to you? And feel free to type that in the comments if you feel like it. Or, and of course, write these things in your journal. That is the most important thing. I will, if YouTube allows me to see comments, I will respond. But sometimes YouTube kind of hides them, or maybe I accidentally hide them. I don't know. But this information is really for you. So oftentimes when I'm coaching somebody and we discuss what is it like to ignore myself? What is it like to ignore my dreams? It usually means people feel disappointed in themselves. They tend to feel more anxious and heavy, burdened, and stuck. And it's just not. Generally, it's not where they need to be. Now, some people need to go like in small increments. So this isn't saying, "Oh, we gotta rip the band-aid off." That's not what we're talking about here. We're just taking stock. We're just seeing what the scenery is like. We're just seeing the lay of the land. So when we ignore ourselves, we get a sense of things. So what happens then when, if we just pretend like that we've completed that sculpture, or we've made it to Mexico and we've got our, you know, icy drink in our hand and the sun's on our face and it's really nice. So we think about the accomplishment, just do like this 1 minute miracle. God has just made this happen. What does that feel like? So generally, it's been my experience that when people are like, "Oh, I don't have to do it," like in the moment, when you get into this miracle mindset, when they're just like, "Yeah, I'm just there." So when I'm just there, when I don't have to go through all the minutia and the planning and the physical effort to go through the TSA and take the plane and buy the ticket and deal with the hotel and all that friction that is there in life, when folks get to experience the outcome, they feel relief, they feel lighter, they're proud of themselves, they feel like they are a good role model for their children or their clients, or just those around them. And so generally, people are generally pleased about accomplishing their goal. Now, if folks are experiencing a lot of anxiety about finding a goal or valuing the goal, that means folks need to just get to know, like take more stock, get more of a sense of the territory that they're in, and it's oftentimes this emotional territory. So if you can't get into this part of the situation, that's okay. It just means you need more time to understand, sense what's important to you. And so either way, what would be and of course I hope you're writing this in your journal, or feel free to write in the comments section. So what, in light of what your goal is, in light of how you want to feel, like, so let's say you make you complete your sculpture or your project, or you've done your goal, like going to Mexico or something. How does it feel? And so it's important to write that down and really explore how it feels to, in your imagination, when you take that miracle moment and it's all done. Um, and then the next question is, how important is it for you to feel that relief? How important is it for you to get the weight off of your soul, um, to having accomplished this success? And so it's very important for people to get a sense of, wow, this is very important to me. And so feel free to write that down. And the next question would be is, what do you feel then is the next step? So if, like for me, my goal is decluttering, and it just makes me feel lighter, and my environment is simpler when I have fewer papers, and that really is important to me. It's valuable, and uh, so for me, my next step is, like, I've got my equipment, and I'm going to do what's the easiest thing to make this possible. So I've removed a bunch of empty files from my rolling file cabinet, and I'm just trying to declutter this reference material that is just driving me bonkers, basically. So as you can see, I've got maybe half of that done. So that's my next step, is just to continue doing what is easy. So I'm not necessarily looking through every single piece of paper, but if I can discard an empty envelope or whatever, I am also trying to get rid of little pieces of paper. And for me, that's a small win. If I can do anything easy to towards my aim, if I can do something, then I will do it while I'm working on a bigger project. So my project is take this shelf and put it into my file cabinet, and there's all these little adjustments, the kind of low hanging fruit that I can harvest along with my main goal. So if you can find something that's easy, and I'm saying easy, I'm not saying start a whole new crazy project, like overwhelming project. No, no, no. So if you have your main project, but then there's this overwhelming project that's kind of within it that's waiting, just go around that big overwhelming part of the project as best you can and still work on that main project. So so what is your next step? And if you can't really think of, oh, well, my next step is like as I described, another question is, who can help you? So can you hire somebody to help you? Like, can you take a sculpting class, or can you hire a travel agent, or could you ask a friend to help you make your travel plans or go with you or something like that? So are there any people that might enjoy helping you along the way? So with that, let us see. Um, So I think it's really great that you guys have uh, just watched this far, and hopefully you took some notes in your journal, and hopefully you got some brainstorming out of that. And this is really such a benefit to you and those around you, because when we kind of take this time to reflect and focus on what's important to us, it really benefits us. And it's a learning process. This is not an instant change in 20 minutes. Um, and it's just this good touchstone. It's sort of like, and it's like, this is kind of sacred time. So uh, with that, I think I would then ask if you had any goals, any steps, any like what seems like the next best step for you. And it could be rewatching this video, or it could be getting a piece of paper and, being ready the next time you watch video. So it can be something small, and but try to do something that is compelling, that is fulfilling. When we make a goal too easy, it doesn't really move the dial. It doesn't replenish us. So if you can think of a challenging goal that will give you some sense of satisfaction, that's a good thing. However, if you're really stuck, then the question would be, what can you do to nourish yourself? Like, what can you do to maybe give yourself some sense of agency, some sense of power? So could it be going to a cafe and having somebody make you a nice hot chocolate or something like that? Or, where is some sort of interaction, perhaps, or going to the library and just spending a day reading a book, or uh, going to church or praying. So if you're feeling extra stuck, think about ways to take care of yourself. And it could be also asking somebody for help and some type of moral support. So, with that, I think I am going to wrap up for now. So, God bless and thank you for watching.